everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield and I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States, and we're going to be taking a look at a new Gen 5 group called ILLIT, and it's their track Magnetic. We're going to look at their dance practice as well as their music video, and then if they have a performance version we'll look at that too. This one has actually come across my recommended on shorts. I've been seeing people do a particular cover of this type of itemization, I think, in the fingers, so I'm gonna see what it's about because I technically haven't really watched it. I don't really know what the track is, but I'm excited. I like looking at new groups and seeing what kind of tone or vibe they give off because each one has their own little niche of sound. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check it out. Ah, that's where it is. Okay. I'm trying to think this reminds me of. It does give me a oh my goodness. I don't know what it reminds me of. It does have like a video game vibe about it, like very animated. They kind of feel cartoonish to me, if that makes sense. And they're very clean, which really helps with that. This is cute. That was fun. Yeah. There's a lot of little baby hops in this. Bless it. Fun. I like that little surprise of the level change with the arms. Nice. Cute. I actually like the ending and how it bled over. Even though the track was over, they continued on. That was fun. That was very well done, very clean. It feels, honestly, it kind of feels like a very hype branded choreography in the sense of it does give me similarities to how To Us's choreo comes across, a little bit of Boy Next Door's vibe comes across. It's that very young and bright and free, childlike kind of concept, but not childish, but it feels very I don't know, it feels very lively, youthful, right? But it takes a more animated approach to it. This would be perfect for Wreck-It Ralph. Do you know what I mean? That kind of animation type of track where it has a racing game in it, something like that. I mean, it's totally a vibe, and I actually really like it. It's cool. So let's go ahead and look at the music video.
Baby, I'm just trying to play cool.
Oh, that's fun. like it's magnetic. You. And you notice with you, it's like little fingers. Like you could think about the spaces. Huh. I like that choice because it's just challenging and brain teaser enough to get people's attention. Oh, they're talking about MBTI stuff there. It gives off that energy there too. Like INTJ, EMTP, like all that. It's the second half of this that's super interesting. Like, I want to figure out... This makes me want to learn it just to figure this part out. That's fun. But my fingers are really small and chubby, so I don't know if mine will look as cute as theirs. Fun. Yeah, Wreck-It Ralph. What did I say? I love it. And I do like it's a different, what is it? It's a different ending course, which is really fun. It builds up in a different way. This would also be a really fun step chart on Pump It Up. It gives off that vibe. Honestly, if they ever came out with a Tamagotchi movie, this should be the theme song of it. It gives off that vibe. It's like that kind of niche of trend that's going on in life right now. It's a vibe. Not many people are doing this particular niche of genre, if that makes sense, in like the mainstream. Well, let me correct that. That must sound pretty ignorant, especially because of TikTok. Let me rephrase that. So in the K-pop Gen 5 scene, I'm being very specific, this does feel and placate similarly in like the youthful concepts that I've seen, especially from the boy group side. But with the girl group side, this particular like it screams like if Tamagotchi was a song, it would feel like this. You know, it kind of feels like that. But it works really, really well. And not many people can pull off a concept like this, but it's how their movement quality mixed with their haircuts, mixed with their fits, I think really help validate this concept collectively from the dance practice into this. So we're going to go ahead and let's go back to the dance practice. All right, so from the top here, oh, look, even with their logo, it looks like bit size, you know, like when you're playing, it's like 8-bit, right? I like this part where they're just kind of, you know, having a conversation. I just can't hide that. I want you. And they're waking up. I really like that really easy way to, you know, spread out. Looks fun. It's an odd number. I say this about every time I look at a group for the first time. I look at how many members are in the group because when you see an odd number, you're typically going to have an easier time with symmetry and balance between the two sides. Also, if it's an even number, you're going to have to sacrifice somebody or really utilize levels to your advantage. Here in this case, this looks fun. I like that. Notice that everybody is taking it, swinging it around. I really like this goodness, Jess, use words, of using their hands to frame the face, really fun. Then they take it and move their hips to complement that. It's deceptively polyrhythmic and to the degree of you don't really stop, but it doesn't feel like it's overly dense either. So it's a really good balance. And you know what? Hold on. Okay, so this is a puzzle piece choreo, and so when I say that, that means that you got a team of choreographers that came in and did different segments of it. It's kind of the ongoing trend of a lot of choreographies nowadays, especially with Hive. You do notice that a lot more. But then you do have groups like 17 who has like a resident choreographer, Choi Young-jun, and then you also have with the boys, they have Mihawk, and with XG, I do know they use Sienna Lalau a lot for their work. So you do have groups that have like their go-to choreographer, and then you have other groups that have like puzzle piece together, and then maybe they'll have a choreographer that comes in as their resident movement director or this, that, or the other. So that, it doesn't surprise me this is puzzle piece. I like it. It's a vibe for sure. And then switching it there, I love this part, and then they turn it into a little heart. It definitely has, oh look, that's a fun little effect, cute. So going from here to a heart, really fun, and then they take it and move it around. So it's go, go, go. So they have to make sure they have this in lockdown and muscle memory for sure in order to get it this clean with this type of energy, because the first thing you're going to think about is just getting the choreography. Then the second thing you think about is how do I make it feel more comfortable? It's typically like your go-to order, but a lot of people who are like professional dancers, they do a really good job on itemizing and prioritizing their skill sets, on knowing what works in the moment when they learn choreography versus whenever they are just learning it for fun. But here in this case, they're doing a great job. You can tell they're comfortable with the choreography. Even if it's a challenge, they've worked hard to get to a place where they're all on the same page, which is what you want to see for a group. I like that switch part, D, 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 and then bringing it through, all of them facing towards the inside except for your feature. Looks great. That little da, and then have that call and response. I love that. And then bring it right back in. But it was a nice little surprise. I wasn't expecting it, even though I just watched it twice. It's the, you know, I didn't expect it, and it was really nice to see. And they bring it back in, boom, really nice and full in the build-up body roll. Then they bring it nice opposition between, I think it looks like we have 2 going this direction. You have 2 going this, 3 going this direction, 2 going this direction. But you only saw one of them go that way. Oh, but then you can see it there, and then they all frame it back. Makes it really, that's a really fun way to do the formation, actually. That was fun. That crush, boom, you can tell with one of our dancers over here on stage left, or on the right side, she does a really fun job, really itemizing the hips up to the chest, so that was fun seeing her do that. I like that part. Dee, 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 dee. Really, really fun. It wouldn't shock me if they got picked up by a video game franchise and to do like a, you know, like, not like League of Legends, but like that kind of organization, you know, like that kind of company, like them doing a collab with a video game company to do something like that. It would not shock me at all, which is cool. But then with a company like Hybe, they probably will do that one day. But I like that double on that. Really fun. Bringing it through. Boom, boom. Nice little tap, tap. And what is it, a mountain climber? Not quite, but I know how she did a little, like a little clam variation, which is fun. Or is it a crab walk? Clam walk? It's one of those. Right there into the column, I like the peel out right there. Notice the range is slightly off with the heads on that. Nothing crazy, but I like how they peel it out. Really nice, beautiful ripple, and then they bring it back in. Fun. Then this part, you, it's fun. It matches well. Bringing it through. It does remind me of, oh, what's her name? She did the song, da, 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 Bella Poarch, but she was known for her, like, animated mannerisms she would do on TikTok, right? Like, that was what she used to go viral for. That's what this reminds me of. It reminds me of that. But, like, in a really fun niche way. Switching for you, it's cute. It's animated. Okay, so this right here, they end up halfway through switching it and then still going through the fingers and then turning it at some point into this I love you sign, which makes sense and matches this. So I will probably, I mean, part of me wants to learn this because this looks like great cardio, but just really understanding the itemization of that, because I think it's really good to work on this kind of eye-hand coordination, literally. I think it's just good for your health, so it's just fun. Dun, 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 dun. It's cute. It's fun. And bringing it through. Put it up. Pa! Pa! I really like how they take the head and they like they really make it a moment as they accent it down. That was fun. Hitting it through. Ding, 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 ding. Fun. Super fun. You, tap, tap, tap. And then I think for this, they end up doing the outside leg. So at some point, they do end up hopping with both. You can see how it subtly looks different than whenever they just tap with one. But the one, they're able to go ding, 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 place more weight on the other foot that's not tapping, so they can allow this one to have more liberty to go up and down on the heel. So I like that. Really fun choice. Da-da-da, da-da-da. Fun. And this part right here, a nice little heel, and the heel kind of navigates. Now, this is a familiar kind of move or fingerprint of moves that I've seen before in other groups. I like how it's placed here. There's nothing new under the sun. Let's just call it what it is. But I really do like the combination of the sequence of the choreo that we have here. It's fun. And you can tell some of them are using the elbow to kind of guide, some are using the back, and some are using the hand. So that would be a note if I were, you know, if I were in a position where I would clean choreography, which is what I do. I clean choreo for competition routines. And that would be a note that I would just ask out of clarification. I would say, are we wanting to push from the hands, push from the back, or push from the elbows? Because the energy does look different, and the cleanliness is going to be slightly different too. Because if I'm moving from my back, my elbows are going to look more locked together. If I'm moving from my hands, I'm going to have more liberty to allow more bend between the hand and the elbow through the forearm. You're going to have this kind of discrepancy. But if you go through the back, the whole thing is going to be moving. If I go through the hands, you'll have this. If it goes from the elbow, then it's going to feel a little different in the back. So that's why cleaning, like certain details, so when you have the difference between like a squeaky clean routine and then a routine that looks clean but individualized, that's kind of the difference between the two, is how they clean it. So in this case, this looks really fun. It is clean. I like that. Boom, nice little pause. Then they go right here. It kind of feels like we're doing a little Charleston. Da, da, da. It's cute. And then switching it through. Da, 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 da. And then they build it. Pa, 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 pa. And I like how they throw it. Boom, boom, and it really matches the sound very well. Boom, 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 boom. It's like that bounce. That sounded like a weird sentence. It sounds similar to that bounce. So it goes from soft to loud there, which is nice. Then they're pulsing it right there in the center, and the nice little pause. Everyone makes their own choice. Then we all pan it over. Then this part right here, I am used to seeing that. I think I saw it in Crazy Form too. This part where they're kind of switching it up. I just see that pretty often. That's definitely a viral trending move that you see fingerprinted throughout a lot of dance trends. So this definitely feels like it was made for a challenge, and it makes sense because it has just enough difficulty to attract people's attention to want to learn it. But it's also not overly difficult to where only like the best of the best can learn it, right? It doesn't require a fundamental prerequisite to do it effectively. A good example of a routine recently that having a fundamental understanding of the techniques really help you in doing it correctly, or even close to the essence of the choreo, is Chung Ha's I'm Ready, because it is whacking. And whacking, it is a completely different fundamental of usage of the arm in comparison to just moving your arms like you're doing a city rock, right? Or doing just your arms, placing it, or tutting. Like, it's very different. And so having an understanding of whacking as a fundamental and foundation and understanding the culture of it helps you be able to understand the intention of it choreographically on the track. Here in this case, it feels like you don't have it, that has some difficulty, but it's not so difficult that you have to, you gotta go take a couple dance classes to kind of get it under your belt confidently, if that makes sense. Yeah. So that's like my tea on that, but I like it. It's fun. It's a nice little vibe for sure. I like the accent there. Boom, boom. I really like that choice. Pulling it through. I like that hit. Dun, dun, dun. And the look. Really nice conversational transition. I like that. Dun, 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 dun. I like how they throw their body in such ways where they have a nice little accent at the tail end of it, or some tension to kind of pull it out. That was fun. Boom. It's fun. It matches how she sounds in tone. Bring it back in. That dee-dee-dee-dee. Cute. That was fun. Dee-dee-dee. And boom, 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 boom. And the switch, having half with the arms up, half with the arms down to the side. Fun. Bring it through. Boom. And dun, dun, dun. Like that choice as well. Let's go, let's go. It kind of feels like, let's go. And she's having her own little party. Once again, very viral in nature. Could this potentially date the routine? Possibly, because I've said this about a couple other, I think, boy group ones, because I've just really looked at boy group choreo significantly more than girl group choreo. So I've just noticed it more as a trend there. There are certain routines, depending on the group, where depending on what you have in it and how you have it structured, it can date your routine to the era, and not in a great way, meaning that as it ages, you're going to be like, oh, that was so 2023, you know, because I think ATEEZ is a prime example. They have a routine, it's Wave. That one is the first time I think I ever said it about any routine. That one really dates it to 2019. Like, it feels so that era. And if that was the intention, I think so, which is fine. Like, to each their own. There's no issue with that. But if you're an individual who wants to have something that can go viral, which I think was the intention of the choreo, they want it to be a group that makes a good impact on debut. And, you know, depending, if that's what a company wants for a group, and if that's what the group wants, like, I mean, to each their own, do it, you know? And I just hope that if they do want to pursue being artists, that they do have the opportunity to do that without having to feel forced about meeting a particular niche of virality to be successful, if that makes sense. But I know like the market nowadays is so different than way back pre-pandemic. So I do understand that. That's a whole marketing mechanism that I don't even know the beginning of. So I can't really talk about that nearly as much as I can with choreo. But the choreo trend is really showcased. It's really factored more into the virality of challenges to showcase whether or not somebody's sound or song is going to be deemed as successful, which kind of sucks if you think about it. But also, I mean, I get it too. You know, it's tricky. I like the subtlety of that, and doom, doom, doom. That's fun. And bringing it back, boom, boom. So it kind of feels like a little roll through, and then they kind of hit it around like we're in a little roller coaster. That's cute. Nice and subtle, like that right there. I feel like I've had so many students that have done that particular move in class. I've even added it in choreo for fun sometimes. So there's a lot of viral move fingerprints all throughout this, but just done in a lot of it's done in pretty subtle ways, which I can really appreciate. I do appreciate that. Then having them all drop back, and I like how we have one of our features walk around the back. She does have height in her favor. It works well for these kinds of formations. That was great. Nice and subtle. Nice and slow with one of the feature, well, with our feature with one of our dancers. I mean, they're all members, right? So, but she's only as, like, she's in a dancer position for this moment. I like the subtlety of that interaction. And then they all came up. That was fun. And then from there, pushing it through. This time I want, and then you have just your feature in the center, do something different. Very easy to see who your feature is there. There's your doon, 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 doon. This is fun. I'm just curious how this feels, like to physically do, because it's different. Okay. Yeah, so once again, every time I see it, I just like stop and analyze it. You, something like that. I feel like, if anything, I'll just learn that for sure. Bring it through LA, boom. Once again, boom. Same course, choreo, but different subtle formation. And fun. Tap, once again with the tap. But notice that they're tapping, and then they have that little interruption with the chest. Ding, 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 ding. It's fun. It's nice. It's interactive. Dee, 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 dee. And they're right here, all nice. I do appreciate whenever you're still in frame and you're nice and stoic and not being a distraction from where you want us to focus, which is right over here. Love it. In a rush. Yep, hitting it through, very similar to the movements that you saw earlier in the beginning. Nice little high five, and then they have their moment, and then they're still moving. And once again, notice that you see, it's not really once again in reference to what I said at the very end of the dance practice, where they're doing movement and it's bleeding over from the phrase. I like the fact that they're still engaging with their phrase, and it bleeds over into them. So it feels collaborative by nature. I like it. It's fun. Yeah, da-na-na, fun. And then from here, you're having everybody do a nice little chaîné turn, 3-step turn, bringing it around. The pull through is nice, right there into a straight line. Nice and confident. Da-da-da. Yeah, so very easy to see who your feature is, not just because she's in center, but because she also differentiated from the subtlety of everybody being nice and still. That's why it's important. Absence of movement weighs just as heavily as being overly dense in movement. Having both is great. You want to have some ebb and flow of that, just like everybody's moving except for one person is still. That's really easy to catch that person, just like everybody's still except for one person moving, no matter how subtle, because of the absence of movement. So I like the fact that we're exploring both in this, because it showcases some degree of fluency and understanding how to move collaboratively as a group. It's nice. The swings are really fun. Swing, swing, boom, boom. It does tie very familiarly over to what we saw earlier with the other courses, but it feels like it's in its own little lane, which I appreciate. It's still in the same book, different chapter, but I like this here. It kind of feels like the start of a star, which you do end up seeing. And of course, with those 5, good chance I'll probably do like a star as a symbol in some way, shape, or form. Is that their like symbol in general? I don't know, but you do see the overlap of that particular, symbol throughout the not choreography, but throughout the music video, which I thought was cool. Fun little light. Now that part right there, you. Now for that, I normally see people with a little bit more energy in the torso with a little swing. It reminds me of J-Hope or BTS mic drop. That kind of vibe. I'm used to seeing that there. But it is fun. It feels like a low-key trot because they really don't have time to do this without looking like a weirdo. So that was an appropriate concession to make for that move. That was fun with the kick step, touch, and kick step, touch. It's fun. Digging it through, I like that. Boom, boom, cha, da, da. I like that choice too. Super fun. Swinging it in. Da, da, da. Everyone doing kind of their own thing. Really cute. Nice individual choice. Then nice little box set from one of our features before we branch over into a really nice windowed formation. Then same groove that we saw earlier. Notice that half of them, well, most except for one, and you can tell based on how they're sitting as well as where they're stepping, most of them are actually engaging from the heel, except for one of them. She's doing a full step. Now here's why that feels. It's going to look subtly different. It's so subtle. So whenever you tap on the heel, it's more like a rebound. When you step, you can place more weight on it. So how your weight shifts is going to be bigger in range in comparison to somebody who's only tapping the heel. It's less amount of time on that weight on that foot compared to a full step. So that's why it could look subtly different between if you look at these two individuals or from her, from everybody else. Now, is it actually noticeable? Let's look. From here, kind of. I mean, if you think if there's like a particular bounce that you see in it, there's not really a bounce, but when you just see the quickness of the switch of the foot, I mean, potentially, hers can just feel a little bit heavier in the transition, but it's so subtle, and that's just more like if you're really looking for something off, it's not really off. Honestly, the arms are more off than that foot placement was. But even then, even the timing is fine, it's just the range. And when I talk about range, it's from point A to point B, not the A and not the B of the movement. It's even this. So when you see groups that are known for synchronicity, they're known for not just having move 1 and move 2, they have move 1 going into move 2 the same way in a unison section, and that's what makes it have that crisp, clean, robotic cleanliness or synchronicity. So how they finish, I love that choice. And then they bring it through, dun, dun, dun. Now, part of this, I am shocked that we don't have more shuffling in this because I feel like some of these movements have some overlap in that style, but that's more Charleston there. Yeah, dun, dun, dun. So I think, are these like little magnets? I wonder if it's that, like, I love you, or like this is like a magnet in like a symbol form. I don't know. It's fun. Diving through that D. That's a little crab step, I think, right? Nice and nice and slow. That feels very viral and influence. That boom, and then once again, here's that move that we've seen before. The march through, and then they finish D and finish. That's really fun. I enjoy it. I think I've seen this interlocking in some way, shape, or form. It was Kirsten with Next G. Not this exact kind of texture, but this interlocking thread. It's nothing new, but how they did it I really liked because it matched the track well, and it's a really fun way to finish it too. It's cute. Love it. Now, I'm going to say this, just like I said about, I just looked at Baby Monster Sheesh, so I'll say it here just in case this is your first or the other one. There is beauty to be had, not just in like really polyrhythmic, complicated choreo, but also in the fun, animated, youthful kind too. I would say Baby Monster Sheesh is definitely on the simpler side, but it's just as much of a joy to do as I'm Ready by Chungha. It just kind of depends on your vibe that you want to go with, right? For me, Chungha's is really fun because it attracts like a fundamental whacking vibe about it that makes it really enjoyable for someone like me who's trained in whacking fundamentals. So it feels like a fun way to really bring that out to play, but also, you know, do something fun, like a little challenge, you know, that others are doing. And then in this case, this one, if you've done finger tutting in any way, and like Sheesh, they do have like a subtle little finger ISO section, which was fun. But here, you know, the eye-hand coordination of knowing how to flip the wrist or break the wrist, that can really help you in this case. But honestly, understanding how to do full energy, but not make it too, you know, too androgynous or too masculine or you know, like there's like a healthy balance between, like, it feels more shuffle in posture, but also I don't do shuffling as much as I do house or whacking or waving or popping. So this was fun. It definitely feels so in the times. So I'm very intrigued on what they're gonna look like 5 years from now, because are they going to keep with this niche because it works for them, and it also works for what is trending and viral around this time, because with most groups, when you see them debut, they have a particular sound, and then over time that sound matures into what they bloom into, what they feel they are as artists. And I've noticed that with every group that I've marathoned from Gen 4 and Gen 3. So it's something that I'm very intrigued to see with them specifically, just like I feel with Baby Monster, with Psychers, with all the Gen 5s. I'm really curious what their sound's going to be in a few years. But this was a really fun start. I'm glad that this, you know, became a viral thing, because that's just fun, and I think it helps people improve their eye-hand coordination, like I said. So this was cool. I may learn it. It looks intriguing. We'll see. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch. If you want to see more Gen 5 groups, I have a lot of them on my YouTube. I also have a lot of them that I mini marathon. So if they've been out for about a year or so, I mini marathon them, and they should be on Patreon. I also every month do a marathon of a particular K-pop group or K-pop artist, and right now it is actually Chungha. So I do have some of her work on my YouTube, but I have most of it on Patreon. That's a really fun way if you want to get involved and get early release content, or just kind of vibe out. That's there for that. But I am excited for the discussions on this. I'm intrigued on who these individuals are. I do know they're under Hive, and I know that they're new, and this is their first track, and I've been seeing this, like, excerpts of this routine all over my shorts, which means it must be fun to do. So it is tempting for me, so we'll see if I whip one out for shorts myself. But once again, my name is Jess. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.